Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's presentation, Financial Strategies for Internationally Educated Healthcare Professionals, Stability when Seeking Licensure. Before we begin today's presentation, we would like to begin with an acknowledgement that N4 is hosted at Xiao, which is located in Ottawa, Ontario. Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia, and we honor them in this land. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. We also honor all First Nations, Inuit, Métis peoples, and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. My name is Colleen Drake. I'm N4's Project Engagement Coordinator, and I will be hosting and moderating today's presentation with my colleague and co-host Yusuf Khalil, N4's Communications Specialist, who will be monitoring the Q&A today behind the scenes. I am now pleased to introduce you to today's presenters, and I see that everyone has their camera on, so that's great. I will start with Abhinav Bhalla. He is the manager of key partnerships at Windmill Microlending. He works with organizations supporting newcomers. As a first-generation immigrant himself, he has a strong desire to support and empower skilled immigrants to achieve professional success through the Windmill Microlending Loan Program. Apologies, I'm just jumping from screen. Heidi Hemdan is the manager for newcomer specialists, Ontario North and East at the Royal Bank of Canada. Heidi arrived in Canada 17 years ago and started her career in the financial services. She joined RBC 12 years ago as a manager client care. She has held branch leadership roles in multiple branches across Ottawa. She holds a bachelor's degree in economics and political sciences and has been a career mentor since 2014, mentoring newcomers. Jane Xiao is the Senior Relationship Manager, Commercial Financial Services, Ontario North and East Region at the Royal Bank of Canada. Jane arrived in Canada 14 years ago as a foreign student and obtained permanent residency 9 years ago. She joined RBC as a banking advisor and holds a master's degree in economics. Jane has passionately worked in business banking for 9 years and is committed to a full relationship management approach to serve clients by leading a dedicated team of individuals responsible for all aspects of client relationships to provide the best service possible. Welcome to you all. And I just have a few more housekeeping slides and then we'll be diving into the presentation. So just bear with me for a moment. Conflict of interest, no conflicts of interest to declare from our presenters. As far as recording, a portion of our presentation today will be recorded and will be uploaded to the N4 platform. We will share this with you as soon as it becomes available. I will let you know if there's any technical difficulties. We will look at rescheduling for an alternate date. As far as the participant experience, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the platform features to help enhance your participation. Throughout today's session, we invite you to write your questions in the Q&A window. We know that sometimes you have similar questions, so you'll have an opportunity to upvote the questions today. Thank you so much. And I think that is it, and I will take this opportunity to hand the virtual podium over to our first presenter, Abhinav. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Colleen, and welcome to everyone. I'm just going to share my screen and we can start. Great. Welcome everyone again. I hope you guys can see my screen and hear me well. Thank you for all for being here. I just want to start off the information that I'm going to provide today is just for general information purpose and do not constitute financial investment tax, legal, or any accounting advice. Just want to keep that out, put that out. Okay, so I'm Abhinav Bhalla, Manager Key Partnerships, as Colleen mentioned, with Windmill Microlending. Windmill Microlending is a national charity. We've been in operations for almost now 20 years. We have approved over 120 million in loans for internationally educated professionals. And we have 1,000 partners, 12,500 plus approved loans, and we are federally and provincially funded. Now, what we do is we offer affordable loans up to $15,000 to skilled immigrants and refugees, basically to help them get back in their careers or change careers. Now, in terms of how Windmill works, Windmill is a very accessible product. So we help those who have actually no credit history in Canada, even. So we help those who are unemployed or underemployed. We help newcomers who are living off savings, uh, who have credit card debt, who are on employment insurance, who have no assets, and who don't even have a co-signer to get a loan. So that's the purpose that we do. Now, in terms of how the windmill money can be used, we're going to touch a little bit about the money. So basically, there are four major categories. So foreign credential recognition. So I think most of the participants in this group would be internationally educated healthcare professionals who are either nurses, physicians, pharmacists, dentists, doctors, or any other healthcare profession. You can use the money to get accredited and get your credentials and complete your journey. Secondly, the other thing that we support is career change, switching careers from if there's any other career that you're looking to switch. Professional development and upskilling is the third part. So basically, let's say if you are an HR professional, supply chain, IT, and you want to take up more courses, you can use for that. And lastly, for relocation for employment anywhere across Canada. Now, quickly jumping on to how Windmill microlending works. Basically, we support those who have permanent immigrant status. As an immigrant status, it has to be either a PR, a provincial nominee, Canadian citizen, conventional refugee, or protected person. An immigrant should be living in Canada. Any province is okay. They should have at least 1 year of post-secondary education on 1 year of work experience before coming to Canada, and no declared bankruptcy. So now we've just given an overview of Windmill. I want all of you to actually take a moment and look at what is your understanding of credit. We'll jump right into the main session and have a quick check. Basically, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your credit use. If you're not using credit, you may want to establish your credit history. Well, the answer to the slide is actually 1, 2, and 4. Credit is actually not available to everyone in Canada. You must be credit worthy. The lender or the creditor will only lend money if they believe the borrower can pay it back. So that's how the credit works. Just wanted to set tone. Now let's jump into how the credit score works. So basically, this image will show the credit rating, how that is done, and the source is Prosper Canada. So anything above 700 or above is considered good, and 750 or more is considered excellent credit score. Now, we will also touch upon why we should have a good credit score in Canada. Well, credit is actually managed by two credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion. Basically, what they do is they collect your credit activity in a credit report. And it's one of the main things when lenders look at when they decide whether to give you any credit or not. The credit report contains your history of credit use, your credit ratings, and is actually used to calculate your credit score. So you can actually order your credit score report. I'll share the resources post this presentation. Now, I think one of the major factors is to understand how a credit score is calculated. So just to give a fair idea, you look at your payment history, your amount owed, uh, the length of credit history, whether you have any new credit or inquiries, and type of credit. The pie chart actually shows how the breakup of a credit score is calculated. And based on this, they determine what's the amount of credit you should get. Now, I think I started off why a good credit score is important. So I would think everything that you need If you want to borrow for anything, credit score is important. So let's look at your car insurance rates. You need to get a mortgage for a house or an apartment. You want to buy a car and you need to apply for a credit card, any loans, basically even for a cell phone contract, right? So the better the credit, the more beneficial it is for you to focus on the credit. Okay, so that's my first short part in terms of giving an overview of credit and credit score. I'm going to jump upon the second part, which is around budgeting. So, well, budgeting is actually very important because as newcomers, all of us need actually help in managing our spending, saving, and reaching our financial goals. Right. So, and the most important thing is maintaining and creating a budget. So basically, you need to list all your sources of income, salary, benefits. You need to track your and categorize your expenses, whether they are fixed expenses like rent, utilities, versus variable one like groceries, entertainment. And very important are pre-authorized payments, subscriptions, Netflix, all of those kind of things. So the general rule that is followed, probably is suggested by Prosper Canada, that we kind of suggest all the newcomers, is to focus on 50-30-20 rule. It's basically 50% of the income towards needs, 30% towards wants, 20% to savings and any debt repayments. Also, it's highly suggested to have at least 6 months of monthly expenses as emergency fund. Now, just couple of other things in terms of managing income, expenses, and credit. So basically, there are three major things that you need to manage that. First is credit card and loans, saving accounts, and loans with mortgages. So in all these three categories, you need to talk to an advisor who can help you compare interest rates, fees, and reward programs, look at different financial institutions, different lenders. The last one is the most important because it's one of the most important decision you're going to make. It's to have a mortgage. So you got to evaluate, and obviously there are trained financial advisors who can guide you, and our colleagues are there, and their team, extended team, would be there who can guide you with the financial institution. We're almost at the end. So yeah, that's all from my side in terms of giving an overview of credit, budgeting, and a little bit about windmill microlending. I'll stop sharing and I can jump back in and take any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Abhinav, for giving us that picture of what to expect. We do have a few questions coming in. And it looks like this one is coming from the Atlantic region. So the individual says they work with ISANS on the Atlantic Immigrant Career Loan Fund. This program offers financial support to newcomers to Atlantic Canada, so that they can achieve credential recognition in their fields, including the medical sector. Would there be any chance they're looking to share information on the IACLF as a resource to the attendees today from the Atlantic region? And they're just asking if that's something that could be provided or further details to help them in that part of the country.
Sure. We're very open to, we're a national organization. I'm more than happy to share our organizations and partner with other organizations and co-share and promote each other.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Abhinav, you touched on the importance of credit when coming to Canada. When you have individuals that you meet with, do you ever run into individuals who are surprised by what their credit rating is? Do they sort of say, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting," and now, I'm looking to get a mortgage and that's not what I was expecting. Do you run into that situation? And then when do you sort of pivot and say, these are the tools and resources that I can give you to improve that situation?
Well, it's something, great question. Thank you for that, Colin. It happens a lot with newcomers
Mhm.
because many of them, for them, credit, this is the first time they've used a credit card in their lives, right?
Okay.
So, and they don't understand how credit works. Maybe it's the minimum payments they're doing and start impacting their credit, they're missing payments. And suddenly when they come to Windmill to get back in their career and we tell them, okay, credit is off, or you missed a couple of bill payments, maybe you missed not just your credit card payments, maybe you missed your phone payments, your internet, right? And they never realize those small things matter so much, right? You got to be
Right.
on top. So we guide them. We have internal coaches who guide newcomers how to rebuild their credit, right? How to make sure that they pay off their high interest loans first, right? And start getting back on track. And once they're back on track, how they become eligible to have to apply for windmill loan, basically to help them get back in the field. But yes, it's a problem which needs to be addressed, and I think especially we guide all newcomers to be aware of as much as possible, be away from payday loans, any of those money marts, and that's a trap. We don't want newcomers who don't understand how the credit and financial system works in Canada to avoid falling into that kind of trap.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Abhinav. It's such good advice and obviously so important to have someone to go to help guide them. So thank you. I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Um, Many of the job openings, this individual is stating that are in rural communities, which means they need access to a car as there's no public transportation. And they're just wondering about tips on how they could potentially, I guess, get support, financial support for affording a car. Is that something you could touch on?
So normally we support one of the major factors. I think it's a very unique question. But what happens is we do support relocation loans. Windmill does
Okay.
fund for relocation. Let's say if you're moving from urban to rural areas, you can actually get loans from Windmill also. There are absolutely obviously financial institutions and other organizations who can fund that. But if you need help from Windmill, I think they can definitely reach out for that purpose. And if you're not sure, I think I would say that make an application, reach out to a colleague of mine who takes. They'll be more than happy to guide and answer that question with more in detail.
Fantastic. And as Abhinav has mentioned that we're happy to put you in contact with their team following the webinar. So we'll just jump onto one more question and then we'll hand over the mic to our colleagues. Is there any loan without interest or a lower interest loan that is available to newcomers?
That's, I think that's another great question, and it's not the first time I've been asked that. We are currently exploring, we are currently testing, piloting out that in for a couple of programs because it's something unique to us to serve clients who, due to cultural or religious reasons, cannot borrow money on interest. So right now we are testing that model out with a couple of different variations. As of right now, for general newcomers, it's not available. We don't have that option, but hopefully in few months we might launch that. We are testing it out right now. I can only share that as of right now. But yeah, that's a problem we are trying to solve.
Fantastic. Thank you. We look forward to hearing more on that. And thank you for your presentation. And we'll now pivot to Heidi, Jane, and Salma of the RBC team. And just a reminder that this part of our presentation, we will pause the recording. And with that, we will hand it over to his presentation. There we go. The recording is now back on, and the recorded portion will be available on the N4 platform. We'll be moving, as I said, any questions that we didn't have a chance to get to, we will bring those to the presenters and we'll make sure that we have those answered. Obviously, we'll have some resources and tools for you following the webinar, and we invite you to take part in a survey that will pop up on your screen when we wrap up. It just helps us guide upcoming webinars. Our next will take place on March 26th. And then we also have one on April 9th. If you haven't already, take a look at the N4 mobile app. It's available on Apple and Android. And with that, we will wrap up our webinar today. Thank you to you all. Hope to see you again soon. Have a lovely day.